Greetings and welcome back to Backyard Astronomy with Gemini Brett. This is the 5th video, I believe, in this Follow the Moon series. It is Sunday, Day of the Sun, September 8th, 2024. It is 9 p.m. Pacific time, and I'm recording from my backyard in Richmond, California. We're about a week from New Moon. New Moon was on Monday. Tomorrow is Monday. It's a week, right? And I mean, it's often thought that a week's time is the quarter of the lunation, that the cycle of phases is 28 days, but that is wrong. Phases are 29 and a half days. So a quarter of that is not 7. It is more than 7. And Moon's orbit is an ellipse, not a circle, and we get a slow start in this particular lunation. So anyway, 7 days after new moon, tomorrow, we will not see Moon in the waxing half phase. She will not be a quarter way through the cycle, and I know that because Moon is currently 66 degrees from the Sun. And so the particular shape of the Moon's smile is somewhere in the sextile, 60 degrees, right? I didn't mention this in yesterday's video, but yesterday we were like 55 degrees away from the Sun, 54 maybe. And there's harmonics, like Moon right here at 66. It's about 2/11ths of the zodiac. They call it the bi-undecile. I don't think we need to go there right now. Again, I prefer 12 phases, to help me connect to the whole sign aspects of semi-sextile, sextile, square, trine, quincunx, opposition. And at 66, we are in between the sextile of 60 degrees and the square of 90 degrees. And we will certainly know when the Moon is square the Sun, because Moon will have a straight line down her very curvy face. Now, in this particular lens, I can bring in a lot of starlight, but I can't zoom in. I did just photograph the Moon through a zoom lens, took some beautiful shots, and I'm going to be using thumbnails for these videos of a nice zoomed in shot of the Moon so you can see the phase. It's 30% illuminated right now, according to the Moon app. And so it's an interesting thing to know, but we'll see. Short video tonight. I just want to show you a bit of the zodiac path that Moon will be traveling as we move through the month, and also to just say once again, the Moon is quite low, below the ecliptic plane. If you live in the southern hemisphere, she'll be quite high above the ecliptic plane, because Moon is very far south of the ecliptic right now. I can't remember ever seeing her this far south in respect to these stars. As I mentioned yesterday, Zubin el-Janubi here, 15 degrees tropical Scorpio, is right on the ecliptic plane, which goes up here between Acrab and Deshuba, and then up about 4.5 degrees north of Antares, and it kind of continues on like this, all right? And Moon is just so far south. She's 4.5 degrees south celestial latitude, meaning 4.5 degrees south of the ecliptic right now. Which again, I'm kind of tripping on because her node's in Libra, and right now she's in Scorpio. So it doesn't seem like that far from the node. She peaks at around 5 degrees south when square the nodes, and with the nodes now in North Node Aries, South Node Libra, that means the squares are in Cancer and Capricorn. So it's interesting just to see how kind of quickly Moon moves towards the extremes in latitude, about 5 degrees north or south of the ecliptic plane every month, because she's already almost 5 degrees south of the ecliptic plane and just crossed her node, I don't know, 4 or 5 nights ago. Okay. So typically when the Sun travels through the zone of the zodiac, the Sun travels right through Zubin el-Janubi like this. Okay, well, the Moon has her own path. It depends upon where her nodes are. She can only ever go 5 degrees south or 5 degrees north of that star. So you kind of get a band of potential Moon travel. I should say 5 degrees-ish. Moon gets a little bit more than 5 degrees north and a little bit more than 5 degrees south of the sun's path every month. Who's counting? We are. Okay, anyway, you can see that Moon is applying to the Scorpion. I'm just staring through this viewfinder to see if I can find another star of the scales, right? So this is Zubin al-Janubi, Zubin al-Shamali. There's another star called Brachium, which I was seeing through the zoom lens. But right now it's just kind of low on the horizon, and San Francisco's that way. And so is the marine layer. I can see a big band of fog beneath the moon, but I think I'm seeing Brachium right now right here. Yeah, I am. And Brachium's at 21 tropical Scorpio. So we project this way up towards the ecliptic plane. So 21 Scorpio would be like here. So I guess the moon's at like 24 or 25. It's crazy. I just calculated the distance or the difference between the moon and the sun's positions to get that 66 degrees of phase angle, but I didn't really pay attention to the moon's degrees. So let me open the chart right now. And we find that Moon is at 23:15 tropical Scorpio. Okay, so it's going to be a lot easier to know when she is close to ecliptic stars. So let's just look forward to the ecliptic constellations that Moon will meet next. And tomorrow she will be well into the Scorpion. So Moon's average pace, 13 1/3 degrees per day. Moon at 23 1/4. Let's call it 23 and well, let's just call it 23 Scorpio. So tomorrow she'll be at like 6 Sagittarius, which means that she'll be past this kind of gateway into the Scorpion marked by these 3 stars, which are Acrab and Grophius, or also called Deshuba and Fang. Right, Al-Niyet, the 2 arteries surrounding the Scorpion's heart, and Taurus, one of the royal stars, which in our day and age is hosting the precession of 10 degrees tropical Sagittarius. That's right, Scorpion's heart, 10 Sagittarius. Constellations and signs are very different things. So we'll see Moon cruise through the Scorpion and then on to the Archer. And so you can see the Archer here above the tree. There's an asterism of the Archer that's kind of the easiest thing to see, which is the Teapot. So this triangle is kind of the top, the lid of the teapot. And then here's the base. And here's the handle. And then we have the spout, which, if this wasn't so light polluted, you would see the spout pours out the steam of the Milky Way band, which goes up this way. Okay, well, that spout star is actually on the sill. It's the Archer's arrow, and the Archer's arrow, along with the stinger of the Scorpion, right? See the Scorpion here, right? Stinger, arrow, and then also the knee of Ophiuchus, who's this giant constellation. You can see some of the stars here, Ophiuchus and serpents, but many of them are way above this frame, right? So anyway, these 3, Garifsa of Ophiuchus, Anasil of the Archer, and Shala and Lasath, the stinger of the Scorpion, they triangulate the galactic center. It's just right here. So I can't see the galactic center. I can barely see any Milky Way here where I live ever, just because I'm so close to San Francisco, Oakland. But I know that the center of our galaxy lives here, triangulated by the Scorpion's stinger, the Archer's arrow, and the foot of the Serpent Bearer. So it's like right in the zone. It's kind of more like right here. And I can align my heart then and feel into that great mystery. And by the way, when I'm in dark skies in Arizona or Hawaii or something where I'll see so much galactic center, it's hard to see the Scorpion. It's hard to see the Archer because there are so many stars in this zone. Okay, well, let's just continue. We'll see a couple other constellations of the zodiac. We're going to head towards the east. I guess while we're here, let me just say, so Archer's arrow, Archer's bow, the notch of the arrow back here, this is Nunki, which I was taught is the stars whose name is the oldest of the catalog we still have. That name goes all the way back to Sumerian times. And they're stars like kind of in the centaur, like horse parts beneath all that. They're very dim. They're tricky to see. They're also in that tree. But you get these stars up here, which I usually see drawn as like a cape that the Archer, which has been converted into centaur, wears. We can be very imaginative with the way that we connect the dots, you know? And who knows who's connecting them the quote-unquote right way. All right, over here, and here it's gonna get a little shaky. Walk with me just a little bit because we have to reveal the horns of the goat, which are the two stars kind of vertically placed next to the tree here. All right, and then down here above this other tree, we have the two stars of the goat's tail. So Al-Jedi here, which means goat, and then Deneb Al-Jedi here, which means tail of the goat. The goat, generally speaking, draws like a triangle like this, or kind of like a delta, the Star Trek glyph. This is like 5 degrees tropical Aquarius and 15 and 25 degrees tropical Aquarius. Now the WaterBearer, who holds this heavy water jug, okay, which is over here, it kind of looks like the Aquarius glyph, right? Most show that the weight of the water jug is supported by like a yoke or a pole that's held over the WaterBearer's shoulders. Most draw this as the WaterBearer's head. I think that's Sadal Malik, and this one's Sadal Saud, and this is Sadal Chiba, but I get those confused. I think you can see why. Anyway, the yoke that supports this, the weight of the water jug, it runs all the way here above the SeaGoat. So again, the horns of the SeaGoat and its fishy tail, right? Al-Bali is like the end of the pole, or some draw it as the hand of the WaterBearer head here. All these stars like well north of the ecliptic plane, which runs right through Dorsum, or Theta Capricornus, this star, which in our day and age is at 15 degrees tropical Aquarius. So again, a star that marks a cross quarter point. And before we're done, let's see if we can get Dorsum and Zubin al-Janubi in the same frame. I don't think we can, but that would be a full kind of season's worth of sky, 90 degrees worth of sky, a square's worth of sky. And I'm just really experiencing that right now. Cool. All right. Anyway, so WaterBearer is here, and then the jug, and then the water stream kind of pours down this way. It's currently pouring down pretty close to Saturn, who is hidden behind the trees. Let me go a little bit further. And we will see here a great asterism of stars that was once called the Flood, but most of us know it as the Great Square of Pegasus. Some of those stars are shared with Andromeda. They are the stars that I personally use to find the very dim Fishes constellation. It's hard to see fish through the water, right? And it's hard to see very dim stars and light polluted skies. But I'm just noticing here, this is one of the Fish's head. It's called the Ringlet. I'm actually going to break out the Stellarium phone app to just confirm that that is true. But I know that's true. Which is wonderful. I wasn't really able to do that one a couple of months ago. Consistently. So yeah, the ringlet indeed, and all of that shows me that Saturn. Oh yeah, we can just walk this way and I'll show you Saturn. Hello, ringed one. Okay. So speaking of Saturn framework, let me just invite this bug that's crawling on my leg to go somewhere else. Let's see if, and walk with me again, okay? We need to get the SeaGoat out of the trees. Okay. So goat's horns right next to the tree. All right, goat's tail here, and in between we find this star. It's not so bright. It is kind of alone, and that helps it be visible. And it's an important one because it's right on the ecliptic plane. It's important to me because my midheaven's 14 degrees tropical Aquarius. It's very close to where that star was when I was born in 1975. All right, so a cross-quarter marker in Aquarius, you know, we might call that the Imbolc point, since that's where the sun is, halfway between December solstice, Capricorn solstice, and Aries equinox. And I'm just going to see what happens if I put it on the very edge of my frame here. Okay, so you can still see next to the tree goat's horns, and this is dorsum, so 15 degrees tropical Aquarius, and now on the right of the frame you just see the front of the scorpion. We have to go another chunk more to find our way to Zubenel Janubi, which is here, 15 Scorpio. But a really wonderful thing that I'm playing with right now, I mean, I can kind of help you play this game. I'm going to turn the camera so that the body of the camera is pointing to Zubenel Janubi. And then we'll just see if the camera is now pointing towards dorsum. Dorsum. I mean, it's pretty cool. And what I'm doing right now, and I love doing this with the moon and the sun, so we'll talk about this in a couple of days. I don't know if I'm showing up in this frame, but I'm holding one hand up towards dorsum and then one towards Zubenel Janubi, because I know they're square, and then I can really just feel that 90-degree square aspect in my body. Which, by the way, does typically, it's like a body shape that feels generally tense, and that's a thing, or generally activating, and that's a thing that we say about squares, right? Okay, well, follow the moon, kind of got ahead of ourselves, but we are time travelers. Well, let's just end with this beautiful crescent. Moon currently 30% illuminated and about 66 degrees from the sun. Here about 6.5 days from the moon-sun conjunction, the Virgo new moon, which happened last moon day. So clouds allowing, we'll be out here again tomorrow. See you then, friends.